Wamaitha. Can I say thank you on her behalf? Please.
Comrade Power. Mini comrade kama nyinyi. Mini comrade wa...
Okay.
Mini comrade University of Nairobi. Na nataka kusema hivi, nimeelewa shida penye iko. Sisi hatuwaelewi kenye munapitia through mkiwa shule. Lakini nataka niwaambie hivi, kama watu wa Nakuru, as a nominated member wa Nakuru, this is a solution yenye nawapatia within my means and my power. Nimesema I'm sponsoring a bill, and the reason kwa nini nilisponsor hii bill, it's one thing. Tuache kumekiwa decisions with our budget as the youth of Nakuru County. What the bill will do, it will create a board where you, the youth, will be heading that board, will be making decisions on the budget of the youth. Why am I saying this? Kama mna make your budget, si mtakaa chini mseme ni wangapi wanainama, tutengeneze hizo programs zenye watu wanainama ndio wapate kitu ya kukula. Hii story hamtaki, hivyo ndio iko. Otherwise, if you are not in the decision making, and this is what the solution we are trying to give you, we have to empower you to make the decision making. We have to give you rules and policies so that you can make the decisions.
Thank you.
Yes.
Asante. Comrades, power. I want us to actually, I have realized we have got so much that is unaddressed. I love us to come up with a framework that ensures that hii conversation haiishi hapa. First and foremost, I want the leadership of the Comrades chapter UDA to come up. Wakuje hapa. Brian. These are our interim leaders. Comrades, power. Mtu hakatai mwito, anakata aliloitiwa. So, ninataka kuintroduce leaders up, and then I propose the next stage. If you don't listen to me and them, we are not moving. So the interim leadership, come here. Interim leadership that are available here. I love them to stand. Then I want the panelists to stand as well. Comrades, power. Comrades, power. Come. Fine. Now, can you listen to me? I want your 2 minutes of silence so that I speak. I have got 2 years, so let's get moving. Number one, we have got an interim leadership here to start this conversation because we want these chapters to go up to the college level. What we will be moving, and the proposals we want to move from here, mkitoka hapa, you give us a regimented structure on how we engage you mpaka pale chini, so that then this town hall does not end here. Sisi wote wenye tumekaa hii side ingine nataka tusimame. I want us to do one thing. All of us. Let's all stand up. Let's all stand up. All of us stand up. We've been sitting for a very long time. I want us to search. Comrades, power. Comrades, power. Okay. So I wanted you to see these people. I want to bring in the SG. He's going to actually guide as we move.
Asanteni sana. Just have a seat as we do the concluding aspects. Nataka kuambia hawa vijana wenzenu, your fellow youth these young men and women came to us with an idea. This idea is now being actualized through the Comrades chapter. It is being actualized through these town halls, and through them, in a consultative process, we will do 2 things. We will lead a process of electing a more representative leadership that is emanating from the comrades, by the comrades, and for the comrades. Number 2, we shall also ensure that we have a program that program that gives you the capacity to engage with policy and to engage with politics. So that, inshallah, by the grace of God, so that we are able, together with this leadership, to interrogate more and more of the policies, so that policies that are made by this government are more responsive to the needs of the young people. And secondly, policies made by this government are able to ensure that some of you then are able to get that leadership position eventually. As James said, once upon a time, like many of us, they were there. One day, you will also come here onto this platform, so that then you become the transition from that policy participation to policy implementation. So for 1 minute, I will allow the chair to speak and wish you well and tell you how they want to integrate and bring on board the broader formation of the comrades. Then we give the closing summations to the Economic Council and the panel. Then we will now look for a way not to come to a town hall, but to come to your universities one after another and other higher institutions of learning, including TVETs and ARVIST and all other places, so that we can engage you in constructive policy discussion, including the funding model and other things that affect you directly. So, Brian Kipkorir, say something.
Comrades, wisdom. Comrades, power. Wait first. Wait. I will allow my SG first to say something, then I'll be finalizing for my comments. Thank you.
Tafadhalini, we must allow people to speak. Speaking is a way of engagement and getting constructive engagement. Kwa hivyo, let us agree. Let us speak. Wacha Gitonga ongee kidogo. Gitonga is from one of the universities. Just introduce yourself.
Comrades, wisdom. Comrades, wisdom. Comrades, there's no bride price too high for a beautiful woman. Comrades, wisdom. Comrades, I think I'll just address one thing. We are an interim team. We are not the final team. The idea emanated from our chairperson called Brian Korir. He had an idea to engage with the government. He's the one who will speak, and probably I think for those who were with at the beginning, we began on how this journey began. And so, comrades, there will be elections. My friend over there has told me that we should choose somebody from there. My brother in a blue shirt, you mentioned that we should choose somebody from this region. So we are just an interim team. We are the ones who brought up the idea, and we want to ensure that we will be able to leave structures that once we do elections, say kama ukisha kuwa preso, you will find something already ready-made. Sio iko sawa?
Sana. Wacha sasa tumpatie Brian.
Comrades, I want to speak with you. And we have to recognize a situation in ground that is happening in the state affairs of this country. We need to be informed, we need to be engaged, we need to lead together with this government. And by that virtue, I think it's very important we all agree as youths, not by segment, not by factions. We have to stand as a youth. So my clarion call to you people, as whenever we are doing in the interim course of this chapter, we are here to get your issues. Those issues that you are saying are the ones that we're going to take on place in the initiative of the action call to enable the changes that are needed to ensure that the comrades all over the country can be inclusive in that leadership and in the structure that help us to guide this comrades chapter going forward. Asanteni sana.
Sasa mujitambulishe mmoja baada mwingine, jitie jina na institution yako na ile kazi unafanya wakati unaendelea kukaa. Haya.
I'm Vivian Nyaminta Bosire from the Technical University of Kenya.
I am Tony Ogembo from Mount Kenya University. Allow me just say this.
Okay, just give it to the next. Give it to the next person. We'll talk later. Please, we'll have a forum to engage. Aya, introduce your co-host. Simunamona huyo.
Mogesi Maroa, President MKU Parklands Law Campus and the Chair of the Council of Governors in the Executive Council of the UDA Students Chapter.
I am Oba Abdi. I'm the interim treasurer of the UDA Comrades Chapter, and I'm from the University of Nairobi.
Just introduce yourself, please. You've already spoken.
I am Evan Serem from Kabarak University.
Comrades of Goodwill, I'm Chirio Ronald from Multimedia University of Kenya, and I work with the national team.
Patia Robin.
I'm Robin Omondi Mito from the Technical University of Kenya. I'm the Secretary of Membership.
Vile waliweza kuja wako wajua what happened. This is not the entire council. And as we move around, we will create inclusivity. Kwa hivyo, for now, this is an interim team that has planted the seed. This interim team will now make sure they are inclusive, because this is not only for university students, it's for all institutions of higher learning. Kwa hiyo, kwa kuweza kuweka msingi, so that they set the ball rolling, wacha tuamkue comrade. Also remind me of my days when we shook the Moi regime. Nikisema comrade power, tuseme power to these young men. Comrades power! Comrades power! Comrades power! Asanteni sana. Sasa, Professor Machuki, kuna maswala yaliulizwa juu ya universal health care. Kuna maswala yaliulizwa juu ya education, which is their principal goal. Can you please respond to some of those issues?
Thank you very much. First and foremost, let me take this opportunity to appreciate the issues that have been raised here. Part and parcel of the agenda for this meeting is actually leadership, mentorship. And when you talk about mentorship, you must have a mentor and a mentee. And when you get into the political realm, there are some democratic ideals that are important. And one of them is universal. It is love one another, respect one another, and have a common purpose as young people. So, the questions that have been asked about universal health coverage and the new funding model, but I would like to draw the attention to the fact that anytime change is introduced, there is bound to be issues to do with resistance. Resistance comes in two ways. One, maybe the change is not addressing the pertinent issues, and therefore there is behavioral resistance to those who are affected. Number two, there is a system issue, systemic. The resources are not adequate, or the structures are not there, or the systems are not there to deliver. But one thing that I want to assure us is that the new funding model was well intended. Let me say this. I don't want to go into a conversation that will land me in trouble, because the matter is in court, but I want to say this. Let me draw a parallel. All of us seated here went through university, and we were receiving funding from Higher Education Loans Board. The funding we were receiving was not the same across. I received 30,000 throughout my entire study, and there are all those other colleagues of mine who received 40, 50, 60. At that point, the information we were giving help was used to determine the level of need to give us the funding that we needed. So this issue of banding has not started yesterday. It has been there, only that it was never disclosed to us that you have been given this 30,000 because your level of need was determined
It was never disclosed to us. What we have done and what government is doing is to disclose that funding will be advanced according to the level of need. Secondly, for those of us who are talking about the differentiated unit cost, the differentiated unit cost had many problems. I've not had any one of us here, now that we said, Bwana Secretary General, that this Comrades chapter is a chapter that will be able to put together issues and mainstream the comrades in the policy-making process in government, because that is the intent. Leadership, mentorship. I have not heard from any one of us here who can come and present a comparative empirical analysis of the differentiated unit cost funding model and the new funding model, and then be able to advance the merits of the former against the demerits of the current. All that conversation is probably what the committee that has been established will come up with. But by the end of the day, the empirical fact is that the differentiated unit cost framework of funding universities almost brought universities to a halt. 23 universities were almost becoming bankrupt. They were being liquidated because of that funding model. And now, this one, the lady who talked about the difference between, the need between affordable housing and affordable university education, right? She was there when she was speaking, so she's seated here, right?